Welcome back, another edition of Down and Back of CornDoug. This week, another great show. Going back to the Windsor area. We got the DJ Rose from the Essex County Cornhole League on the show this week. Great talk with him. He's got some comparisons that he can make that maybe some other shows try to talk about. He's actually got some insight on some comparisons with cornhole and another sport. So we will talk to him about that a little later on. Also, jump right into it. We've got some results from not actual cornhole, some virtual cornhole that we've now got. First time we've got some Canada. We've usually had just our Ontario guys into it this week. This week started, but this time we've got some of the players from Newfoundland coming in. And I don't know if you followed on the Canadian Cornhole Players group. If you're not in there, check out that Facebook group. Jamie Cowan put up a little bit of a poll this week to see who people thought was the better players in Canada, or who they thought were the top players. You didn't have to vote for just one; you could have had multiple. But there was the usual names at the top. I sprinkled in because of being able to see and talk with Sean, know what the way some of the Newfoundland players are there, and I'm going to say thanks to my wife for being my only vote for me being any of the top players. So, but yeah, check that out on the Canadian Cornhole Players. Jamie, it's been a little quiet on there. Jamie decided to kind of step it up, see if we can get some chatter going, and there was a lot in there, a lot of debate on players and who should be where and who's been playing against who, and it was great because we haven't had a chance to get any best on best kind of cornhole going. We haven't had it for like a while, so nice to see some more chatter, people going. So with that, we've got 3 rounds down now. Round number 4 is coming up. I will give you a little bit of a spoiler on my 4th round. It sucked. Did you guys even consider it being actually going to be good? I struggled to get to a 40. It wasn't a 29 like I did in the ACL, the International Blind Draw Virtual. Thank you, Matt Plyle. All this is ACL Canada Virtual, ACL in Canada Virtual. So that's all it is. I don't have like 8 sentences to talk about with the title. It's quick, easy, simple. So out there. So we got the 3 rounds down, and I've got another little document here I'll pop up for myself to be able to see our top 6 scores so far through the first 3 rounds. There'll be some names that you're used to seeing here, and some other ones that will be new names to you, not new names to me, because, like I say, I can't play, so I make sure I know what's going on where. So with that, our number 1 score so far, would it be any other person? It's the boss man, we'll call him. Matt Plyle picked up a 101. Now remember, the deck round, your perfect score is a 120. So Matt getting a 101, he didn't do too bad there. So number 2, another guy that you know is going to be there, Scott Sullivan getting a 98. Another one, a new name coming up there that this may have surprised some other people. Didn't surprise this guy here at all. That's out of the East Coast, out of Newfoundland. Mr. Dion Kuza getting a 95 his first round, and that really surprised a lot of people. But Dion is just a consistent, great thrower, and I know that hopefully when we start to open up and there's going to be some travel, that hopefully I know Sean's put some money away aside in Cornhole, Newfoundland, that they can maybe bring some people down here. So I'd love to be able to see him play against some of our best live player on player right on the board. So yeah, Dion is up. He's at 3rd highest score right now with a 95. 4th is we've got 3 guys that are tied for 4th. That would be Jamie Cowan, George Vargas, and then another new guy, Brandon Brown, out of the Toronto area. That he's come down and played with us a couple times. So they all 3 of those guys had a 90. So we got Matt Plow with a 101, Scott Sullivan with a 98, Dion Kuza with a 95, Jamie, George, and Brandon with a 90. Then coming in, the next score with an 88 is another new name. Like I said, not another new name for me. I've known about this guy for a while as well too. That is Graham Kavanaugh out of Newfoundland. So 2 Newfoundland guys there on the top, with Dion with a 95. Graham Kavanaugh comes in with an 88. He's another solid, consistent thrower that I think there'll be a lot of talk about coming up. We've had 2. Let's go with 3. Albert Parsons with an 87. So there's our top guys with our that are in like the top 80s. From what I looked at, about 85 and up. So those are the guys that have scored more than 85 points. So it's Matt Plow with a 101, Scott Sullivan a 98, Dion Kuza a 95, Jamie Cowan, George Vargas, Brandon Brown with 90, Graham Kavanaugh an 88, and Albert Parsons with an 87. So we got the three East Coast invaders. Maybe we can call them a Maritime Mafia. Anyone in the Kitchener area might know there was a Maritime Mafia with our OHL team here back in the early 80s, but we're going to call them our Maritime Mafia right now because they're coming in and stealing the show. So that's round 4. So I'll have more results on next week's show, talking about that. So and hopefully we'll have almost down near the end. I'm thinking because we're averaging about 2 days to play the game to find out the rounder. So the rounder should be done tomorrow, Friday, and then weekend we'll start getting the elimination. There's just 24 players in it, so that elimination will go quick. And then hopefully I've been told there may be another one starting up again soon. We'll see. That maybe our American friends that are watching, you'll be able to get involved this year. We wanted to do our first one here, just Canadian players, just to get them doing it, because I know, especially with Dion to the 95, that I believe was only his second time ever throwing a deck around. And so if that's only his second time doing it and he starts getting better at it and kind of knowing what's going on, look out, Loretta, because he's going to be one to watch for, as well as Albert and Graham. So that's that. Like I said, hopefully we'll have some more info coming up on that. Next week we'll have more. We'll have the round 4 of the rounders, which then we'll start up the elimination process, and hopefully I can last a bit longer than I did with the in the ACL International Virtual Blind Draw. Thank you, Todd. So with that, trying to think of some other cornhole news. We've got locally here. I don't know if I think I sent out a post. I know Matt sent out one with KW. If anyone knows Jeff Shantz from our local group, he's gone MIA, so we're not sure where exactly he is. I know there's been a missing persons put out for him. We're just hoping he comes back safe, because he's one of our top throwers, and he's come into some hard times, and we're not sure where he is. So there's been some search party in the Niagara area of Ontario, looking for him around in our area here. We're just not sure what's going on, and there's a lot of people that are worried and just want to get him back safe, and let's get him back up to where he's a lot better. So, we've talked about it before, and and I've talked on a show, and I really hate to think about this, but I did last almost a year ago now. I did the Bell Let's Talk show, for just raising awareness about mental health and that, and on that show I had both Timothy Pitcher and Jeff on the show, and they've both kind of went into some hard times. I know Timothy's coming back out of it, and I really need Jeff to get back, and I know that he'll be able to bounce back as well too, if we can just get him back with the right people, and just kind of the people who actually care about him to know. So it's if everyone can just if people say whatever with thoughts and prayers, well, we need that. We need to get him back. And if Jeff, if you're happen to catching YouTube or any kind of an audio thing, if your phone's still on, we need you back here, buddy. I need to get my ass kicked a lot more by you. So we need you back here very quickly. So with that, like, we don't really have a whole lot of other news coming out of the world. Only other thing is if you've seen the live video I put on Facebook yesterday. Unfortunately, they're not down in the ticker right now, but you will have seen that we do have a new sponsor to the show. We've got the Octane. We all know it's presented by Octane Cornhole right there. We know JC Cornhole. I got the hat on usually has some of Jamie's boards around here. I don't right now at home here. But yes, we got Octane Cornhole, JC Cornhole, and now you can go on to myearfun.com. Use the discount code CornDoug20. Will get you 20% off of. They've got earbuds. They've got the little we call them pills. A little for your Bluetooth. You can put any music going through it. Just the little speaker. So yes, you can check them out. Use that discount code and help me let them know that the cornhole world needs some more people, because everyone throws those earbuds, and I have to say I wore them at work the other day, and full 8 hours, and there was times I even forgot that I was actually had them in because they were comfortable. I'm gonna say a lot more comfortable than that other fruit company that sells the earbuds. So with that, without further ado, let's get it to the guy who got me on to EarFun, Mr. DJ Rose. So this coming back here, we're now being produced a little bit more. Coming back after the break here, you'll see Mr. DJ Rose from the Essex County Cornhole Club. So back here, we've got DJ Rose here out of, we're going Essex back to back. DJ, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's been a long week of playing virtual stuff and getting my butt kicked here all over the place. But hey, what can you say? We're still having fun.
Of course.
So so you do play in Essex. You do play with our past guest, Derek Freeman, who I'm guessing that he's probably one of the wild. You can call him a wild card of Essex because you just never know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I remember showing up to my first night of league there in Essex, and they basically told me keep an eye out for him because he could destroy you in the matter of 3 rounds. So
yeah, and he likes to have and he'll joke around while he's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so I think the one thing we talked about before off air here, and what I find fascinating is you've known cornhole both sides of the border here. You've been able to play down the States, you've been able to play up here, so you're able to get that kind of I guess comparison, lack of a better word, because I've talked to some of the other pros who have come up here to play. They're coming up here playing on a lower level, but you've been able to play kind of side by side with the different levels. So I guess we can start off by how you got your start, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I think my start is basically the same as every other person who's played cornhole. My fiance and I obviously would go to family outings and stuff like that. Her side of the family's, barbecues or whatever. And her cousin and I would always play against each other. Everybody would kind of join in on the fun. But him and I were always the ones that were like kind of competing for the top spot, per se. So one night we decided to say, hey, let's take a venture. Him and I decided to go out to a World of Beer, which is like a beer garden kind of thing. And we played in a tournament, not knowing what to expect, whatever. It was cool. We actually got there, and some of the people that I bowl against were there playing as well, because it just kind of goes hand in hand between bowling and cornhole. And we won our first 3 matches. We're like, all right, we are pretty good. And then we got destroyed, and we're like, well, that was even the quarterfinals. So that's kind of where it all started.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, you kind of get hooked with a couple wins, and then all of a sudden you run into someone who actually does play, and then you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's and even when you're getting hammered like that, it still makes you want to play more because you're already addicted. But it's kind of it is what it is. So So then with that there, so going back to your comparison from playing in the States to playing up here, what's your I guess your take on that?
Well, so I think the main difference, and I find it in a lot of like different other sports, basically, it has to do, I guess, with the general population, is that it seems like the States are always a couple years ahead of us. So even when you're going to just a random blind draw tournament, just trying to have some fun with a friend or a cousin of yours, whatever it may be, the people there have already been playing for a year or two. Past what you have even thought or ever heard about cornhole or any other sport. So coming over to Canada and being here, playing against some of the people, especially like I said, playing in Essex, a lot of people just joined for the first year, just joined last year. Obviously the competition is going to be a little different compared to people in the States who have been playing for 4 years to the people here who have been playing for 1 year. So I think that's basically the main difference, is just the experience and the overall time playing in the sport.
Well, yeah, and that's always fun when I get the guys coming from up here, like from the States up to here. They kind of, we're kind of they said that we're kind of right there. We're still growing, but we're still, we're still that little step behind. And I think we're getting better. And in your area, it's wildfire cornhole.
Yeah,
starting
it's
up.
crazy.
Because you've now got there's St. Thomas. And I know you play a little bit in Wallaceburg as well too.
Yeah. It's cool. I was actually just talking to one of the guys I know in the States, and we're just talking about like our normal league here night, and he's like, "You guys have more teams there at a normal league night than we do, and we've had this league for about 7 years now." And it's just, again, it's one of those things that in this area and basically anywhere, I guess, south of Barrie, it's just picking up every city, every town you go to, it's awesome to see.
Oh yeah, and I remember the first time because we thought we were doing not too bad here. We had like our 20, 30 people playing, and all of a sudden we check out Scorholio and we see Essex has got there was like 40, 50 teams, and we're like, holy cow.
Yeah, Evan's done a really great job as far as building up the league and just building up the overall interest of cornhole in this area.
Well, and then he even was able to get that little cross-border battle. I know I talked with Derek on the last show about it. So were you involved in that as well too?
I was not, no.
No, because it seemed like it was. I think some of their big guys thought it was going to be all just going into playing an even kind of cornhole game, and then all of a sudden it was like Maya Cup and Shemmerhorn and a couple of those other people that just good night Irene, you're done.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's crazy just going over there. And obviously, I have a lot of friends in Michigan that play cornhole, just seeing the results. And it's just like at any given league that you walk into, let's say there's 20 leagues within a 40-minute radius. Any of those guys are good enough to win an ACL regional or, make a TV show, just dominate for like a full month at a time. Like it's awesome to see, but it's also like, I want to be there. I want to be that guy. Like, it'd be so cool to see people from, Windsor, Toronto, Kitchener, whatever it may be, like go over and be that person for a little bit, because it just builds up the reputation of, Canadians playing cornhole.
Well, exactly. And that was the one thing that we had disappointed when the whole COVID thing hit, because we had a whole plan for last summer that we were, because we've already made connections with Chaz over at Blue Collar. Yeah. And we were going to go and check out them, because we've all, we've got friends with Chaz, Mike Jacques over there, talked about it with Jeremy Shemmerhorn, and it was just like, that's that, because we've got the guys in New York that come up, but we want to venture west to see that. I know Matt and Jamie with our league, they were able to go over and play in a couple tournaments with Chaz. Yeah. And it's just, in order for us to get better, we have to have a chance to play against them.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So it's that thing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything gets a bit better for the summer.
Yeah, I really hope so. This 2020 was tough for, I think, everybody, especially anybody trying to play cornhole, compete, be in the States, whatever it may be.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know you got the Octane hat on there, and I see some local bags there as well too. So what's your bag of choice when you're going to?
So, there's the page on Facebook that's addicted to cornhole, and it's scary at how quickly you actually become addicted to cornhole. It's kind of crazy. I've been messing around recently with trying some different bags. So like I have Kinetics here. I got some local Mabas from Chris over at Local. Matt actually hooked me up with kind of like a custom color hole shot. I have 3 sets of hole shots now, so I would probably say that's my favorite bag. I got some TossTek logo series. I'm a big suede guy, so if I can have that sticky side, I think, you know, I'd pretty much say hole shots right now are my go-to bag.
Yeah, actually, I'm almost ashamed to say that I just started throwing hole shots
Oh
around the
no,
first time a couple weeks ago,
come
and
on.
you know, and it's just, you know, they've always been there, but I was a big slide right guy,
Yeah,
and then, you know, Matt had the Apex, and they just fit me perfect,
yeah,
right?
that's
So I
fair.
kept with the Apex, and I've been flirting with the Kinetics a little bit, and
Yeah,
it's just when I'm right down the center and I'm perfect,
yeah.
I'm awesome. But if I'm let a little bit off, then it's gone.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I kind of look at Kinetic as almost a practice bag, and I don't mean that like literally. The Kinetics will make you that much better because they are such a fast bag, and I know down here like our boards are super fast. So if you're throwing a fast bag with the boards down here, like it forces you to be right at the hole, or you know, making the proper air mills. It's not going to be stick, and you can, you know, hold it by the hole. These things will go. So it's just basically making you a better thrower by using the Kinetics in my mind.
Oh yeah, and that's my thing. Like I've asked Matt, you know, can you make me a set of Kinetics? And he kind of laughs at me because he knows the way I throw. But that is either, you know, playing at the garage there at Octane, that, you know, you can just grab any kind. Matt's got all the bags around,
Right.
and when I'm going to warm up, I'll throw a couple deck rounds with the Kinetics just to get, you know, to get me my spot, because if I know that I'm on with those there, I should be good with my Apex bags, right? So it's,
Yeah.
you know, that's why it's almost, you know, everyone's like, you got to have this bag. It's just, you have to go. I think you need that arsenal,
Yeah.
right, to be
Absolutely.
able to just, you know, change some stuff around.
Yeah, and that's where I think I've become so addicted to cornhole. It's because my entire life has been evolved around bowling, and bowling's basically the same way. Like you have to have multiple bowling balls to kind of adjust or to, you know, figure out what's going to work best for you. And cornhole is basically exactly the same thing. It's different bags, different materials, different fills. What suits you, and what can you easily adjust to if needed.
Okay, so you've been talking bowling, so
Yeah,
we've got that that other, as the other guys in Boston like to say, that third place kind of show that's up for grabs, whatever.
yeah,
But
whatever.
they had some people on that were talking bowling. But I'm gonna say with you, I'm lucky because I get that contrast because you do both. It's not a I'm a cornhole, you're bowling. You can do both. So what's the similarities in both?
The bags, like I said, having a multitude of different bags or bowling balls, material, the way that they feel. You want them all to feel as comfortable as possible, but you need to have that arsenal of where you can switch back and forth. Um, I guess technically with cornhole, it's kind of, I guess, more noticeable, or you can kind of plan for it, is the difference of the humidity playing effect on the boards. You know, if they're going to slow down, if they're going to speed up. Bowling, we can't really see. We can't really see the oil the way that it happens. You have to kind of say, hey, listen, like this is what's, you have to basically see what your bowling ball is doing to be able to adjust. So there's that kind of element as far as being able to adjust of your throw, basically, of how you're going to be able to score. Obviously, cornhole, you kind of can play defense. Bowling, you can't really. It's kind of like you throw your 12 shots, you make the best 12 shots you can. And you hope that your opponent doesn't. Whereas cornhole, you can, you know, you can play a dirty game, right? Like you can throw up a blocker, you can airmail over there, you know, flop shot, whatever it may be. You kind of have that availability to adjust your game plan in order to play defense against your opponent. And then competition, the mental game is obviously huge. I think in any individual sport, tennis, golf, cornhole, bowling, whatever it may be, is being able to just be stronger mentally than your opponent. And I think that's what really coincides with bowling and cornhole, is just being able to say, hey, listen, like my opponent's good, but today I am better, and I will prove that. And it's just a matter of letting your mind control yourself and be able to, you know, repeat and make the shots that you need.
Yeah, I know. I was in a bowling league here once upon a time, and I moved from the bowling league, to cornhole, and my skill in bowling just progressed into cornhole because I was horrible at both right now. But it is. But then that comes into the other thing that comes into play is the back and forth, right? So then you can have like in cornhole, one guy who's throwing fast all the time. Same thing in bowling, where one guy might be that more slow, kind of deliberate, and just I'm gonna say they're both rhythm games.
Absolutely, yeah. You need to be able to find your rhythm and feel feel how you're gonna throw the next shot, right? And that's, like you said, it's exactly the same between both. Like, you can have a guy that just goes up there and fires 4 bags, kind of like I think Noah Wooten is really good at doing that. Just gets up there and fires. Whereas somebody like Cody Henderson or Matt Guy might take their time a little bit and say, what shot am I going to throw right now to play out for the next bag?
Mm-hmm. Because then and now just talking, it's made me kind of think back to when I was in the bowling league here, and it was like, although here it was the 10 pin, so it was I had more chances to miss more pins, but but it still is that where you have like you got maybe the blocker off the side that you're trying to get back in. You've almost got that. If you have to make a split, you've got to try and figure out how you've got to get that ball from there over to here, or same with the bag from move it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love the debate between, which is harder, bowling or cornhole, because realistically, like, you take the 2 best bowlers and you take the 2 best cornhole players, it's going to be an entertaining competition, regardless of which sport, which activity you're looking at.
Yeah, and like I said, I was horrible in both, so I'm just kind of I can talk about both, so I'm fine.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But no, and it's just, and that's, and I think the other thing that really the big comparison is the ability to drink while doing both is the big thing.
Yeah, and I used to play on a dart league, and I thought bowlers drank a lot. If you ever go watch a dart league or ever participate in guys playing darts, they will drink either sport under the table. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know, and I think bowling is getting to where darts are as the spectator competition, and I just think, and I actually had a talk when I had the guys from the UK on, is they would like to get cornhole to the same spot that darts are with that whole spectator involvement.
Yeah, it's so funny for people who have never watched darts. If they watch the World Cup of Darts at Alexandra Palace, and that place is packed. Now, don't get me wrong, most of the people are there are half of the bag before they even walk into the auditorium, but just the amount of people cheering and being so like involved when something big is happening on stage, it would be sweet to see both bowling and cornhole be that thing where people are just surrounding the athletes and just getting so involved after every and each throw.
And that's where I find, I don't know if you were able to watch back 2019, I guess it was the last time there was a big thing with the ACL finals, and we had a couple of guys. We had Jamie Cowan and Scott Sullivan on.
Yeah.
And I hated that I couldn't be at that event. I had another family thing, but watching on TV, it looked like it started to get that kind of raucous kind of feel to it. And unfortunately, COVID took the rest of all the big events after that. But, I even heard talk there was some money being put on the line in the stands on what's going to happen in the game. And I think that's what is really going to grow the sport here, is when getting more people involved kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you even show up to a league night, or if you go and have a chance to practice at some open boards or whatever, bring a friend, bring a family member, just kind of say, hey, I need somebody to play with that. You'll get better as you learn, and just try and get more people out. And the more people that come out, obviously, hopefully a couple of them will catch and be involved, and then eventually end up like the rest of us and basically be addicted.
Yeah, and it's just like, it seems like everyone that I bring into the sport just becomes better than me. So that's one thing that I have to watch out for. But it's, and it is nice, because I don't know if you'll be able to watch some of the virtual stuff, but that we've got going on this past week. But it's the first time that we've had the guys from Newfoundland able to play in the virtual stuff. And and it was nice for me, because I was able to talk to the guys beforehand, but none of the other Ontario guys knew actually how good the guys in Newfoundland were. And and all of a sudden, I believe it was Dion Kuza, who I knew I was already good, throws up like a 90 for like his first ever deck round on camera, and I'm like, oh, I'm scraping to get a 45, but
right. And then everybody's like, wow, who's this guy? And that's what the virtual tournaments I've been doing, is bringing people out of the woodworks almost that, you know, you haven't seen. And it's like, there's talent everywhere. It's just a matter of basically finding it.
oh, exactly, and that's what I liked watching. And well, you were able to get to the Wallaceburg tournament.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with COVID here, I got an elderly parent with COPD, so I'm kind of really tight in where I can't get out. But
Right.
you know, just watching some of the new players there come out and kind of keeping an eye on the way Travis is getting stuff done down there. I think there's going to be some good stuff coming out of Wallaceburg.
Yeah, it's cool. He's posting, you know, quite often, and I think that's a big thing, is for when leagues are participating, or tournaments, whatever it may be, like posting. People love to see, you know, their accomplishments on social media, so that way they can show their friends or show their family members. And the way that he's running it and being there, it was a really smooth tournament. It went really well, but there's really good players there that, you know, like I said, within the next couple of weeks, if they're in there practicing, like, who knows where they could be? They could be throwing the 90, you know, deck rounds or anything like that.
Well, you know, exactly, you know, because there was already that established league that you guys have in Essex.
Yeah.
And then both Jeff in St. Thomas and Travis there in Wallaceburg, that just, you know, they just kind of got off the ground. They were starting to get the ball rolling, and all of a sudden, just, okay, we're in lockdown. And it was just, you know, I think once we come out of this here, I think there's a strong feeling of, I know in your area, the three leagues wanting to get together, kind of have some matchup stuff. And I know that with our guys in Dundas and even Peterborough want to get involved in that too, which I think is just I think that's where it's going to really explode, is once we can get everybody in together and really getting the best on best.
Yeah, it's going to be like a turf war. It's going to be so sweet to see everybody say, listen, we're the best, we're taking you down, and just watch all the cities just like come. And there's always going to be that, like, that tension between, I think, each city or each league saying, yo, we're better than you. And I cannot wait to see that happen.
Well, I think without letting the cat out of the bag, I think there's almost something in the works.
Okay.
I can almost kind of say that without really saying it, without going out to Octane and having someone get mad at me. But he's always mad at me, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But no, that's where it is fun, because I know I want to get down. I want to play with you guys down there and check some stuff out, because for me, it's watching from when we started back. Now I think we're almost 5 years here with KW, and just to see where we were then to where we are now, with just the explosion with people now traveling down the States to play, people in the States wanting to come up here and, you know, seeing what we're doing up here and seeing and wanting to be a part of it, is that's the big thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's a line. I think that you know, the local players, I always obviously encourage anybody, whether it's cornhole, bowling, any sport that you're playing, go and play up in competition. Go and find a tournament that you know that there will be better players at, because it's just going to either A, help you perform better, or B, show you what you need to do. But I also think, like, there needs to be a line. Like, if you're playing against somebody new, like, you know, don't just throw a shot, yell, you know, slap your hands, count it, whatever it may be. Like, you know, help the newer players, help the people who aren't experienced yet. Like, let them have a game, you know, maybe throw a blocker instead of just sliding it in, you know, play a game that they can get used to, and that they can, you know, not necessarily adjust and beat you, but introduce them to, like, the competitive side of cornhole, and teach them different things while you're playing.
You know what? And that's exactly right, because I remember seeing, and I posted about it today on the Addicted to Cornhole group. That's, well, we are recording this here, so it was actually Tuesday here that I said this. But, you know, the one guy I really looked up to is, or even still do now, is Timothy Pitcher, because when I was down in Cherokee, he kind of came up and he wanted to know stuff about cornhole in Canada. Like, right. He had no idea. He had no idea who I was, but just like this pro coming and asking. And then even I've kept in contact with him, and he'll see some of my videos online, and he'll be like, dude, you're horrible. Just, you know, get your head out of your ass, and just, it's a game. Play it. Have fun playing a game.
Yeah.
And, you know, it kind of snaps you out of that, but because you get in that funk. But if, you know, we need more of the better players, because like I said, those guys help down there, but when like a Bobby Speary comes up, or we had Mike Ferreira and PJ Sorrow. They come and they just, you know, sure they're beating the other guys like maybe 21-2, 21-0, 21-3, but they're also explaining the game, helping people with their throw, and I think that's what our better players up here when we go to tournaments. Because I've seen Jamie Cowan do it here, I've seen Scott Sullivan do it here. Just stop and help people out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's always rewarding. You know, I think for the pros that they would be able to tell you like, hey, listen, like I remember dealing with this kid, you know, 2 years ago, and I beat him 21-0 at a tournament. Well, now it's, you know, 19-19 going into the final round. I think pros love seeing that because it's almost like a product of what they've been able to do is help, you know, like I said, the unexperienced people. And when they're playing head to head, you know, a year and a half, year later, whatever it may be, and it's a full on competition, I think the pros are like, you know what, you're awesome, but I taught you that kind of thing. I think it's a sense of accomplishment for on both sides.
Well, and I think and it's exactly that. It's then push for the pros.
Yeah.
But then it's also that you know I can actually do it for that other up and coming person, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the, I guess, the great community thing of cornhole, because everyone be kind of, you're hoping everyone's going to come together and kind of help each other out, but you know it kind of is what it is sometimes.
Yeah, and I agree.
So so I'm going to say, I guess, ask what's next on the agenda for DJ Rose, because I know we're locked down in Ontario here for another couple weeks, I think. But what's on the agenda for you once we finally can get out of this?
Are you talking like cornhole related, or are you just talking?
We'll go cornhole related, yeah.
So I think once everything kind of lifts and gets back to normal, I definitely see more tournaments. I'm hoping that the leagues kind of continue or pick back up, start over, how that's going to work. I plan on playing at least once or twice a week if possible in the leagues, and then traveling for tournaments. Just being able to compete a little bit more. Sitting at home is just driving me nuts, not being able to compete against, you know, really anybody. So I think that's kind of the plan is just continue to basically work on my game, see what I can do to be better, and play as much as I can to, you know, work on stuff basically.
Well, yeah, and I've already told my wife that it's, you know, weekends you may not see me around if once this year opens up, because there's going to be tournaments everywhere, and that's the, I guess the great thing about the cornhole community being online and talking to people is, like, you know what, now I want to go for a weekend down to Boston to see those guys in the doghouse. I want to go to Cleveland to see those guys down there, because, you know, I'm friends with them. And there's, you know, I got some friends in Virginia now, and it's just, you know, it's, you know, I'm saying, you know, and she's like, oh, where are you going to stay? Well, I've now got friends there. I'm just going to crash in a driveway, and, you know, and that's kind of what cornhole people do.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be reciprocal, you know, all the way around. I think as soon as the borders open up, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of Michigan guys, you know, whatever you want to call the dog cast, maybe even some of those ass bowls might come over and play and just get a big tournament going, just to kind of test the water, see what's going on. And like I said, I think that's really going to help a lot of things, because some of the states there are still playing, but I think once everything opens up, it's going to be like a mad rush to play against anything and anybody, and just say, hey, listen, you know, we may not take it for granted, but we didn't get to see what we were able to do last year. So I think everybody's just going to explode and go play as much as they can.
Exactly. I know we really need those borders open up so we can get down there, because I keep telling Trey, it's not a world finals unless you have Canada there. You can have all those guys in the States and call yourselves a world final, but until you get us there trying to compete, it's a note. But that's the thing, is we're growing like just immense, like we've already said a bunch of times here. We're just growing immensely here, and our talent is getting better. And I think I'm gonna say give us 2 years. I think we will be probably, well, you'd know more than me because you got to play with some of those guys in the States. But I think we can almost get there.
Yeah, and I am seeing, I guess, a little bit more growth as far as, like, you know, companies coming into Canada as far as cornhole. Like I said, I got some TossTeks. Like talking with some of the shirt and apparel manufacturers. Like I was talking with Ghost 12 Cornhole, the owner there, and he was like, yeah, he goes, I didn't realize like how big you guys were. You know, I'd love to get, you know, some Canadian, some shirts, and just seeing the companies kind of almost recognize Canada as being a competitive cornhole kind of scene now. I feel like more companies are going to try and get involved instead of just holding to the States. That you're going to see a lot more involvement of companies and people being cross-border basically and saying, hey, listen, there's a market there. We want to get into it too.
Well, exactly, and we've kind of seen that growth. Well, I'll be able to see it with Matt at Octane, with the amount of orders that are going cross-border down the States, because I know the Boston area is starting to get big. New York is big because of Bobby Speary. But now that we've got like 3 or 4 guys that throw Octanes down in Florida, the Florida, Georgia area is just, it's just going crazy. And, we've got some people that talk about it, but we've got Hasib Habibian, who took some kinetic bags and beat a Game Changers, a guy throwing some Game Changers. So, we're Octane bags can be taking on that big competition down there.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I have to kind of apologize to Matt. Him and I were like messaging back and forth around like 11:30 last night because we were like, I was helping a guy with the design for University of Tennessee, but Matt, like, the guy was like, yo, I want some Octane bags. And I was like, well, which one? And he goes, well, I want boosted. So it's like the guy had already like obviously heard of Octane and wanted Octane bags, but he wanted customs. And like I said, I was kind of messaging back and forth with Matt, but Matt, the customer service that he provides, like, why would you not want to work with him? Why would you not, be willing to try out his bags? Obviously, like you said, there's been a lot of success down south and across the States now with Octane. And like I said, it's just nice to see brands and people understanding, that there's different markets than just Michigan, Ohio, and the States.
Yeah, and I kind of chuckle myself when you say that, you're messing, you apologize to him for messing at 11:30. I actually don't think he sleeps.
I've seen him, I wouldn't be surprised.
I have seen him. I will say I've been with him at Octane about 2 a.m, and then see him online at work at like 8 the next morning. So I don't think he sleeps. And it's
insane.
The business is going, and it's nonstop, and he lets me kind of help fill the bag sometimes. I like cornhole bags. I'm not good with them, and sometimes I'll drop them on the floor, but it's still, but it's, the customer service is what it is his big thing.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that needs to withstand within cornhole. I've seen, obviously, there's pros, there's guys that are playing cornhole for a living, but I still think that cornhole companies, cornhole players need to kind of understand like their lane, I guess, in a way. Like, say, hey, listen, we're not NBA, we're not making millions upon millions of dollars. Like, customer service, quality still means something to the customers here, because it's such a face-to-face like basis that you probably know the owner of the company. So having companies such as Octane and Matt be willing to stand behind their customer service and be willing to just work with clients, it's important, I think, in order for this game to grow.
And the other great thing about Octane, which a lot of people don't get, is that you can get 8 Octane bags for the price of maybe 4 of those other ones where you have to pay like an arm and a leg as well too, and you're getting the pro bags.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't quite got into. I don't think I've spent over like $70 on a set of bags yet. So I see those guys posting for like 130, 140. I don't think I'll comprehend it. Like you said, Matt's got bags that are pros. They're ACL stamped, for 60, $70, whatever, even Canadian. And then, like I said, there's plenty of other companies that may be doing that, but at the same time, there's those other companies that I don't want to say are taking advantage, but are marking those prices to like 130s, 140s, and people are just throwing their money at it. So I guess it's, if you want it, you'll pay for it.
Yeah, and you know what? I wanna thank you here for coming on. I have a feeling we'll be seeing you again here sometime on the show, talking a bit more, because I know we've talked about some stuff off air about some stuff, because I know you have some sponsors that you we even mentioned some of your sponsors now, because I know you have some from your bowling side, and maybe they might be coming to the cornhole side.
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring on some of the companies. There's Genesis Kinesiology Tape. We sponsor Ryan Windsor right now. EarFun audio, so wireless earbuds and Bluetooth speakers. We've been working with them. I have a couple discount codes. You can use DJ S2W25 at checkout. ShadyRays, which is a sunglass company that you and I have talked about, CH20 at checkout for 20% off. TossTek, you can use DJ5. There's plenty of companies that are working to come into the cornhole community, like you said. So I'm hoping that we can kind of get those started whatever way and just kind of go from there.
And for those air codes, you can actually check down in the description, the show just below this, and you'll be able to see all of those codes that you can use for any of DJ's sponsors there. So, DJ, I want to thank you for coming on here and talking some cornhole, getting some bowling kind of stuff in there. But I think I have a feeling that you might be coming on. Just we're gonna have another maybe a smaller conversation, but another conversation coming up very soon, I think.
Hopefully. I appreciate your willingness to let me come on and talk, and I look forward to talking to you and everybody else again.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, hopefully you'll be able to see DJ playing on the Down and Back soon once we open up, because we've got a couple other special things kind of happening here. But again, yeah, thank you for doing this here, and we will be talking to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
See ya.
And there it is, the interview with DJ Rose. Thank him again. Great guy to talk to. I know we'll be seeing him a couple more times at least on the show, doing some more talks. I know we've got a lot more that we could probably delve into, but we're able to get that little bit of cross between the similarities in cornhole, the differences in cornhole between cornhole and bowling. Talking about that, and just talking about just the way to help new players coming along, and how close we are in Canada to be playing against the American players. So thank him for coming on, and yeah, to the rest of you, make sure, I don't know if you're listening, either watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast place, either iTunes, or if you're Spotify, check us out. Just even just give us that like, leave us a comment, leave it anything. Check out the Facebook page, do something on there. Remember to check out the sponsors: OctaneCornhole.com, JCCornhole.com, and then MyEarFun.com. Discount code CornDoug20 to be able to get your stuff there. So that's it. That's all. We'll see you again next week. I've got some great shows lined up. I can't wait. We've got a couple of guests here coming up. I think we're going to be talking about some international stuff next week. Don't hold me to it. We got to make sure the guest actually comes on. We'll go back down to the States in a couple of weeks with some people from there. And then we're going to do another maybe month of shows up here in Canada. We're going to focus on leagues in Canada and letting you get to know a bit more about some of the leagues. We've already got them lined up. Like I said, my live show, I don't know, I'm just like on it already. I've got next 2 months worth of shows lined up. So hopefully nothing big happens in the cornhole world, because they may have to wait to get on the show. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the show. I always like to know, either tell me, hey, I suck, tell me I'm good. I already know I suck playing, but yeah, just let me know what you think of the show. Drop a message, drop anything, and yeah, I guess that's it. Just keep having fun. We're still in a lockdown here. Just go play your virtual stuff, or if you're able to play live with some friends, play live with some friends, but just stay safe. We need all of the players we need. So we need all the players we can get once we come back playing live. So, point for the third time now. We'll see you again next week here on the Down and Back with CornDoug, presented by Octane Cornhole.